So I quit about 2 weeks ago. It was like a random Friday when I quit. My vape ran out and I was like, oh fuck, I really need to get another one. Even though it was like 10 o'clock, it was raining outside and I felt like I really need to go downstairs and go all the way to the shop, even though I was lying in bed, to buy another one. And I think at that point, understanding how much I really felt like I physically needed this, that I kind of thought about whether I actually need it and whether I should try to quit instead. I'm Thomas McLaughlin. I'm 22 years old. Well, there's no concrete reason why I started vaping, but I mean the main reason is that there are other people at my school in Singapore doing it, and I thought, oh, I might as well try it. So that would have been the first time that I did it would have been at a party in Singapore. I never was to the point other people were at, but if I went to a party and there are other people doing it, I'd have a hit and I'd be like, oh, this is kind of nice, because get a bit of a buzz from it. It's something I'm not always cognizant of, but in my mind I'll be thinking about oh, where's my vape? Am I going to when am I going to hit and stuff? Especially in the evenings or if I'm out drinking. And then I think the big thing which kind of led to me doing it more was disposable vapes, just because of how easy it was to get, and you could do it for one time and think that, oh, I'm gonna quit after this, or but in some ways pretend that you're doing it less just because you're going through one after the other and you don't see it stack up. Any tobacco store, you can go in and ask for a vape and they'll sell one. I mean, even if it's technically supposed to be illegal, but I mean, it's super easy. They have it on the advertisement outside saying vapes, and you can buy it and easily get it and acquire it. And then the other advertising is just seeing other people do it as well. Anywhere you walk on the street, you can just walk down the street or you'll see people vaping. I mean, at my work, where I work in a bar, there will be loads of people vaping outside, in the outside bit of the bar. Basically any venue, any crossroad in Sydney, you'll see people vaping. And then out to my friends, I have a few friends who do it as well, so I see that. I'm influenced by that as well. I've always realized that from when I properly started getting into it, that I had developed a dependence on it, and that it obviously isn't good for you. But I still kind of, maybe not brainwash myself, but I was able to pretend to myself that it was okay, or not put on the back burner. But I think that one moment 2 weeks ago made me realize it, and also a few of my friends quitting as well also made me realize that maybe this is something that I can do. In terms of physical challenges, it's just a strong urge to have and consume nicotine, especially when you're drinking. I think in terms of just normal day-to-day physical need, when it gets to 5 p.m. I'll really want it, but then if I'm able to hold out from then I'm able to withstand, and maybe every hour I'll get a really strong craving, but if I'm able to ride that out, then I'm okay. So that's the physical thing, and then the emotional thing is that I think I've been a bit more short and snappy, and if I'm annoyed, then it comes to the surface more quickly, and you're just annoyed at a lot of people. I think if I've been drinking and I wake up the next day, I've done that once so far, and I think I felt better the next day for not having done it. And then also just not spending as much money is definitely a benefit. Just for me, it's just the simple fact that there's so much more I could be spending that money on, whether it's alcohol or whether it's going to a concert if you rack up all the money at the end of the day, or even a trip. Yeah, there's so much more you could be spending the money on than just a plastic colored vape with things that you don't know, what you don't know what you're putting inside your body. With cigarettes, it took a while before we realized that it was just cancerous. I mean, with vapes, there's so many different ones. There's probably not much quality control over them. So who knows what's inside them? And so it could turn out that they're as bad as cigarettes. And so I think that was definitely another part of the motivation, just like thinking about the long term. I do have a party tonight, which I'm a bit nervous about because it'll be like the first big test for my quitting journey, just in terms of like the combination of alcohol being a huge factor in terms of like when I vape and when I want to vape, but then also just being surrounded by it because I know a few of my friends are going who are also vaping, and like going to that and kind of withstanding even if I have a physical need, and just because like I think I want to be able to keep going on this, but this is like a journey. It's not something that you can just like go cold turkey off of and be completely successful instantly. But like, I mean, obviously some people can do that, but I also know that some people find it more of a challenge. And so I know that like now I've made the concrete decision that I want to kind of give it up. If like, for example, tonight I take one hit or something, that's not the end of the world. And that next day after, I know I'll like feel bad for having done it. And I think I'll be able to keep going on that journey. Don't get into vaping in the first place. I think definitely if I were to go back in time to when we were in high school, I'd be like telling us that it's not cool and it's pretty fucking stupid.
So at the party, I didn't end up vaping. It was definitely quite hard, and I was tempted a few times. But I mean, basically, I was like hanging out with my two friends who were quitting for most of the time, which made it a lot easier. Because like if I was ever like, oh, I'm tempted, then they'd be like, oh, don't do it, it's not worth it. And if they were ever like that, then I could say the same thing back. And I think it was kind of easier going in circles like that. But overall, yeah, it was definitely tempting. There were like one or two times I was talking to someone who was vaping, and I wanted to just ask, oh, can I like have a bit? I managed to stay strong, and I think that's a good portent for the rest of my journey. I think it's weird because in the moment, there's kind of nothing more you want than to have like nicotine. But I know from personal experience, from the last few times that I've tried this, that like whilst it helps the cravings go away, after you kind of just feel bad for yourself and you're like, oh, why have I done this? I could have survived without it. And so rather than like succumbing to the peer pressure and succumbing to the physical cravings, I was able to hold on. Looking back from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was I had first quit, it's become a lot easier. I get the cravings less. I'm thinking about it less often. And I think that's a good sign that moving forward, I'll be able to stay off it completely, which kind of just makes me quite happy.